Ladies and gentlemen, how can I not talk about this show? I mean, it's on HBO and it's the first episode of many. Let's go talk about episode number 1. First off, the intro and the freaking theme song slaps. Rewatching this episode, I did not know that Beast Boy already told the team that he was a vegetarian. Not gonna lie, I want to see Jinx in the live action Titan show. Even this little guy. Knowing how relationships and the show is gonna go, and who is in a relationship and who likes who, I kind of found this cute. Did I just say cute? This was a big oof. They already lost 2 battles, got kicked out of their freaking home, lost Robin, and now need to overcome the obstacle. For a first episode, holy hell. But for the first episode, you really think they're gonna lose Robin? I mean, come on, son. Slade. Episode number 2, Sisters of Teen Titans. Let's talk about it. I've always liked either Robin with Starfire or Robin with Barbara Gordon, but man, Teen Titans really pushed me to believe in them. Also, why is she so innocent in this show? It's fucking adorable. I always thought she was bad, but then Raven was the one. Oh, look at that simping. It's not just a sibling rivalry, it's the beginning of the jealousy. It's always Robin that just comes out of the nowhere and always tries to pull in the team together. Especially with Starfire, huh? It's also the alien police officers that come in and just attack people out of nowhere without telling them what's going on. It's the miscommunication for the law enforcement for me. I don't know, this episode made me think, should I trust my siblings? Should I trust them? Learning from Robin. Just learning from Robin. Damn. Teen Titans Divide and Conquer. Let's talk about it. So I'm not gonna lie, I definitely forgot this guy existed. So what's the theme of today's episode? And it's funny because it happened yesterday with me and my friend. But the theme of today's episode is friendship. It's the miscommunication and roasting and anger for me. Son, I love when they draw them like this. And then they go back to this. The villain behind of it all, Slade. I'm not gonna lie, this was kind of like a discounted Clayface. I mean, they could have just put in Clayface. Hey, I see what you did there. Hey, yes, I know what you're gonna say. They have to make new characters. I don't know if this one actually was in any of the comics, so if you guys do know, let me know. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about that guy. Not gonna lie, I need help with this reference. Does somebody know where that's from? Well, this kind of reminded me of Ace Chemicals. Can you see why? Come together right now. This is Teen Titans episode 4, The Forces of Nature. How did I forget about these two? The theme of this episode is more about the amusement of somebody and not being considerate of others. Do you guys remember that episode in that 70s show when Red gets oatmeal all over himself? Yeah, I do. In this episode, Beast Boy actually learns from his actions while trying to teach others. Basically learning what you preach. This episode reminded me so much of the fires in the forests. Yes, it's coming all together now. It's not even Beast Boy that learns the lesson, it's these two. I guess you can say with great power comes great responsibility, huh? Rain, go away. Oh yeah, it's coming together now for Robin. Wait for it. Slade. Season 1, Episode 5, The Sum of His Parts. Let's talk about it. In the comics, we always knew that Cyborg always had a problem with him accepting the fact that he's no longer Victor Stone. This is one of the very few episodes where we explore that. Even though he's in a superhero team, he still feels like he's different. The thing is, all Teen Titans are different, but this is his story. He loses his power cells in a fight and gets taken to a, basically kind of like a junkyard basement, where he kind of gets repaired by this guy. Fix-It. This guy has attachment issues. Here's the thing, Fix-It lost his humanity. He became more of a robot or a cyborg and less of a human being. By the way, I love this. Wait for it. But when he took away his memories, or was trying to take away his memories, he realized that he also lost his humanity. Cyborg never lost his humanity like he did. Season 1, Episode 6, Nevermore. Teen Titans. Let's talk about it. So I've noticed that it was up to episode 5 where we actually start to explore their mental health. I think this is where the show kind of turned and I started to enjoy it more than I thought so. Even though they're superheroes and they're teens, they actually have the same struggles, if not even more, than we do. I kind of love this one. We never see Raven laugh like that. But it was more than that, because on this episode, Beast Boy kind of wanted to shun her, but then also wanted to try to accept her. So we even explore that, to accept one another's, to point it out and to talk about it, and at least try. Teen Titans always been about finding your identity, especially at a young age. Duh. But you do it with a team instead of yourself. What holds this team together, I think, is them finding a way to communicate with each other's struggles. Let's go! It's one of my favorite episodes. Switched! Teen Titans, episode 7 of season 1. Starfire is so innocent, but sometimes, you know, we all have that one person. Could have called this episode Freaky Friday, if anything. Okay, what is it with everyone sleeping in their costume? You got Beast Boy, I get Cyborg, but really Robin? In this one, the Puppet King was kind of weird. He was like whispering to them, telling them about his plan. Yes, in this episode, Raven and Starfire switch bodies. You take two polar opposites and not just switch their souls, mind, but their powers. I knew what the writers were doing and I loved it. Talk about being in someone else's shoes, right? But I've noticed season 1 is all about teamwork. And how can they work together? Rewatching this, I need to point something out because I could remember Raven being in Starfire's body, hinting the fact that she had feelings for Beast Boy. Today's episode is The Deep Six, season 1 of episode 6. Ego, attitude, and ignorance. That's the theme of this episode. The writers basically wrote Beast Boy as kind of like a fuckboy for us teens, because he's always trying to show off to Starfire and Raven, right? He's always thinking that he's the big macho man. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we got Aqualad in this one. This is a question to all of you guys. Actually, do you guys like his costume? I'm kind of like 50-50. I feel like he's missing something. By the way, if you ever watched or read the comic The Boys, then I think the title of this episode is kind of funny. I was going to say no one ever, but usually no one ever really comes into a group thinking that they could outdo anybody else. And this is the first time we see Cyborg say booyah. And this is also the first time we see the Teen Titans radio, which I really, really want. I don't know, I just feel like he's missing something. It's just me. This is episode 9 of Teen Titans Masks. Remember when I told you guys that they were going to look at each member of the team? And it was their individual struggle that they were trying to surpass. And they usually learn their lesson in the end. Well, this one is a bit different. Slade. We've learned that Beast Boy has a big ego. Raven has daddy issues and is more complex. Starfire is so naive, but yes, she feels unworthy of being part of the team. Cyborg contemplates on his look and his humanity. Robin. The self-defeating Robin. In so many ways, he's like Batman. He believes he could do it all alone. What's the word I'm looking for? Prep time? You know, I wouldn't think that he would actually do this. But then again, it's Robin. It took me a while as a kid, but I knew that this was Robin the moment he did this. But this isn't the episode where he actually learns from his mistakes. Oh, that's coming up. Oi, let's talk about one of my favorite episodes. Season 1, episode 10, Mad Mod. First off, how can you not love this episode? It's just so fun. It's really fun. I rewatched this and I just smiled all the way through. I mean, so many references. I think the creators were just having fun with this and I loved it. What is it with old men trying to fight the Teen Titans? I mean, if you don't know where this is from, come on. You guys remember playing the Teen Titans game in the Cartoon Network website? Cause I do. This episode was basically how far can Mad Mod get through the psyche of these heroes. I mean, we're seeing that throughout the season. And just for a second, because he's using holographic technology, he kind of reminded me of Mysterio for a second. I mean, he's not a Mysterio, trust me, he's old. But you get the gist. I want to know, how many of you would actually be Beast Boy? I mean, the animation is just taken out from FLCL. I suggest you Google it. I think it's pretty cool. This is Season 1, Episode 11, Apprentice of Teen Titans. Let's talk about it. Getting inside your enemy's head is always an advantage. Making him have nightmares is a bigger advantage. Realizing your actions lead to consequences, well, that's another one. Being an overachiever is one thing, but being a stubborn son of a bitch is another thing. But being self-destructive and being destructive towards not just your enemies, but your teammates is another thing. And by the way, I'm sorry, you're gonna tell me this is how they find out? I mean, I get it's a cartoon, but seriously? Seriously. One microchip in your body? Nah, bro. Let's put microchips in your cells. I mean, think about turning to the dark side, huh? What is it with villains wanting an apprentice? Again, this is not the episode I was talking about before, where, you know, Robin goes crazy. Spoilers. Talk about the biggest ultimatum, huh? Not gonna lie, that costume looks pretty good. This is season 1, episode 12, Apprentice. Part 2. Let's talk about it. So he already fought the Teen Titans, and they're like, what the hell? Slade, though, kind of wants to be his father. He wants him to be his new son, you know, to take over the family business. What family, though? And Slade has nanobots in the Teen Titans, right? Just remember that. He kind of wants him to be the father. But the thing is, Robin already has a father. And it goes to the Batman. Well, I'm looking at everything. I mean everything, right? And this is hard to miss. This is Wayne Enterprises. They're fighting on top of the roof of Wayne Enterprise. I mean, look at that W. Again, sticking to his core of who taught him how to be good. It's not even the subtle references. It's actually the unconscious mindset of where he actually draws his goodness or remembers that. Listen, this is a big episode because there's a two-parter to this. Like for part 2. Part 2 of The Apprentice. Of the part 2. I know, confusing, right? You know, maybe the whole father thing in the background of Robin, it's not that just Slade wants to be his new quote-unquote father, but maybe it's a remembrance of how Batman treated Robin. And I'm not saying in a sense that he was a douche. What I'm saying is, what if Batman always knew how to beat his villains? And Robin self-defeats himself and always tries to find a different way, different approach on how to beat, well, villains, especially Slade. Slade. Yeah, I know, it's a kid show, but I'm trying to be analytical here. Sorry. So I want to talk about these things, the nanobots that Slade uses. 1987, Max Headroom, episode Academy. This was one of the very first mentions on television that included nanotechnology. Just a fun fact. Also Google Micro Hands, short story, the last episode of this season. Episode 13, Car Trouble. You know, Cyborg is built different. I'm just saying. Man said over 100,000 horsepower. Bruh, he built a Tesla before Tesla. As a kid, I was like, this car kind of looks corny. But knowing the specs of it, come on, son. This episode is fun. I call it fun because, I mean, you're seeing race car driving. So many jokes in it. Gizmo is just annoying the hell out of Cyborg. Get a Metropolis reference. Don't get me wrong about Raven talking to Cyborg about losing his car, but I really thought they were gonna put, you know, an alpha male, a Robin thing, a brother thing. But the fact that they put Raven is pretty freaking cool. And you pour your sweat and soul into something, and then next thing you know, it just gets destroyed. But you could always build it again, especially if you have the money like Cyborg. I mean, Bruce Wayne funds them, right?